41-17 is the final. Michigan is dominant in its win against Penn State today, Sam. A top 10 matchup. It had all the hype, and it was really just all Michigan. A close game in the first half. Michigan was settling for some field goals. The big play from Clifford. You got the interception return from Penn State. 2-point game at the half. Michigan runs away with it in the second half. Just a heck of a performance from Corum and Edwards. Just all around, just a great game for Michigan.
Yeah, man. James Franklin is a thief. He's a thief. He is stealing money right now. It should be illegal how badly he's fleecing the Penn State program right now. Because as I said on Twitter, the sky is blue, water is wet. He gets his ass whooped when he comes to Ann Arbor. That's just what happens in non-COVID years, of course, right? And so you can kind of see him flinch in the first half, right? You can see it. You know how I don't know about you. My grandmother used to switch, and I used to flinch. That used to happen. That was James Franklin in the first half when Michigan was, they going up and down the field. There's no answer. And as the guy said, I mean, two big plays. Now, if there's one thing you could be critical of Michigan in this game, it was that in the first half, field goals, man.
Field goals, exactly.
They would get in the red zone. Manny Diaz, he's going zero blitz. He's bringing the pressure, and they had to settle for field goals. And the great equalizer when you're settling for field goals, big plays. And two big plays for Penn State put them on top for a spell. And you're like, how does this happen? I said it on Twitter, 18 first downs, they had one. How is this team? I mean, they might have had the ball 2 minutes in the first half. And they were getting destroyed up and down the field, and yet they go into halftime down 2. So what's the halftime adjustment? Let's get that ass. That's what they said at halftime. They didn't say that, but that's essentially what they said.
One first down, Penn State,
right,
one first down.
Right, because you go into halftime, there's no big adjustment. They can't stop us on the ground. And especially the way that they're selling on the run, you get that blocked up front, you put our running backs one-on-one with a safety, and it is cancel Christmas. They cannot stay with it. That's essentially what happened, right? Two big plays. And Michigan can go back and they can look at it, and they said, man, basically, it wasn't even them beating us on those two big plays. Right. I mean, think about the big run that they had. I think what it was, I think Michigan had a scrape exchange on that play. I don't know this for sure. I mean, a lot of people were talking about Iabi getting sucked inside on the dive. I think he was spiking on that play, and then they had a new edge, and Penn State blocked up the edge. Great call, great scheming, but even with the great call and great scheming, if your safety, your post safety, was really the one to blame for that being a long touchdown. He got sucked to the action to the other side. If he stays on the side of the field like he's supposed to, you wind up stopping that play for 10, 15 yards. Penn State probably goes off the field, right? The other play, the interception, my novice eye, I got to ask Al Borges, he calls himself the key. I don't know. They ran a slide play, and the tight end is blocking out the same direction of the slide. I don't know. I don't know if that's what they meant to do. It just didn't seem technically sound. I don't know.
And it still took a double boink, right? Double tip deflection.
Right. And so they wind up tipping it and return. My point is, they benefited from Michigan mistakes. They didn't go out and make big plays. They got lucky. And that's what the players were saying. So you come on the second half, oh, man, they're lucky to be in this game. Let's go out, do what we were doing. Even better, they turned field goals to touchdowns in the second half. That's essentially the game.
So let's talk about the second half. Obviously, it was 16-14 going into the second half. Penn State goes down. They get I believe they get a field goal, and then Michigan counters with a touch. That's when Michigan sort of put the gas to the pedal. You got the big play from Edwards. You got the big play from Corum, back-to-back plays, but both 60-yard runs. Michigan sort of just took over from there.
Well, it takes your spirit, because they knew they were lucky to be in that game, right? Two big plays, put them right back in, you get a field goal. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. But if Michigan gets some explosives, and I said at the time, if Michigan can get a couple of explosive plays, they'll take Penn State's heart. The belief factor will go away, because they know, they got a shot if they can make Michigan be methodical. And then maybe you can stop them in the red zone. But if they can get a play like that, crushes your spirit. And they did it in back-to-back drives. And they said that, if they could turn a couple of explosives around, now all of a sudden when the scoreboard starts looking like the stat sheet, game over. And that's exactly what happened. The scoreboard started looking like the stat sheet, and Penn State quit.
I thought one of the more impressive drives. I know it only ended in a field goal, but that was in the second half where they did that. 9.5 minutes, 15 plays. Michigan really just sucked the life out of them after those 2 big runs. You just got to credit this offensive game plan. 411 yards rushing. I mean, you haven't seen that since they beat Rutgers, but that was Rutgers.
Yeah,
this is Penn State.
Yeah, I don't know that you draw it up that way. I don't think. Come on, man. 400 yards. There's no way they thought.
Nobody thought that.
There's no way they thought they'd be able to get 400 yards rushing. So that's the adjustment. Once you realize they can't stop you, and JJ said it in the postgame. We realized the first drive.
Right off the jump.
Yeah. These dudes can't stay with us. We can run it down their throats. So, yeah, he had, I thought, a really good first drive from an accuracy standpoint. He was really dialed in, and then he sort of went cold a little bit. He missed a couple of bubbles, which he never does, right? And kind of got a little off kilter.
Got a little loose.
But once you're running the football like that, I think he might have got on track with more reps. But why are you repping that if you can run it the way that they were running the football today? So, I mean, coming out of this, is there going to come a time where they have to get more explosives through the air? Absolutely. Well, absolutely there is. But today wasn't that day.
All right, you know what? Speaking of that, now obviously this game is done. Michigan is 7-0. They look like a legit top 5 football team. They got 2 weeks. They already said. What did JJ say? And what did Harbaugh say? JJ said they want to go get Paul back.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh said, Corum, the offensive line, were like, it's on Michigan State, coach. Mm-hmm. This team's ready. They got 2 weeks to prepare for Michigan State, but we know this Michigan State team. They always bring it. This is their Super Bowl.
It is. And you wonder if they've been sitting out some of their injured guys, because, I mean, what difference does it make at this point? Their season is wrecked. So their season is Michigan anyway. But, I mean, you come into it thinking it's more than that right now. It's only Michigan, so I wouldn't be surprised they're holding guys like Slade out just to get ready for Michigan. Michigan State's going to play Michigan better than Penn State. You just book it. That's going to happen. Now, both coaches are stealing from their universities. Mel Tucker's stealing from his university, too. I'm not mad at them. Great agents, right? Great hustle if you can get it.
No,
I need that kind of work. Get paid to get your ass whooped. I want that job. But they're going to play Michigan better than Penn State did. So I think the focus for Michigan is what do they have to clean up. So I would say offensively, generating more explosives through the air. I thought they were on that track against Indiana last week. People were talking like, and so much was made out of tendencies, right? That first it was, when Michigan motions, they run, and when they don't motion, they pass, which was farcical. That wasn't true.
Right.
We showed that with the stats. Then there started to be this focus on Michigan being in pistol, and that being a tip. Well, we went back and looked at the numbers. They were 100% pistol in Big Ten play, 100% run out of pistol in Big Ten play. But go back and look how effective. 4 of 6 plays out of pistol against who was the first Big Ten team? Was it Maryland? Yeah.
Iowa.
No. Was it? Well, whoever it was.
No, it was Maryland.
So 4 of the 6 plays out of pistol against Maryland hit. 4 out of the 4 plays out of pistol against Iowa hit. Wasn't until you get to Indiana where they ran 14 plays out of pistol, 6 of them hit. But think about everything that was going on.
Absolutely.
You had the Mike Hart thing happen.
Definitely some more variables in that.
You had some more variables in there, and Indiana was triggering on it a little hard. But my point is, it wasn't a problem. It was something, teams are starting to key on it, and maybe you're building towards something. Maybe you're setting teams up. And we saw Michigan first drive, right? First drive out of pistol. They're doing play action out of pistol, right? They're doing different things. So tendencies, I think they have a book on what they do and what teams are going to try to do to stop them. Can Michigan now, in the bye week and beyond, start to generate through the air some opportunities down the field? They've been so close. Early in the season, it was, hey, JJ is overthrowing guys. In the Indiana game, there were a couple of big play explosives left on the field. That wasn't JJ's fault. You had the one that was dropped by CJ, which he doesn't drop balls, but that was a 95-yard touchdown that he probably dropped. And then you had the post to Ronnie that, I guess the broadcast was saying, he overshot A.J. Henning. No, he didn't. He wasn't even throwing at A.J. Henning on that play.
Right.
He was going to Ronnie on the post, one-on-one, no safety over the top. His arm gets hit. That's another big play left on the field. So all these sound like excuses when you don't hit them, right? They have to get to the point where they're realizing some of those plays. It didn't matter today. maybe it won't even matter against Michigan State, against a team like Ohio State, which is what you're thinking about, playoff. Don't get ahead of yourself. I know people are going to say, but that's what you're thinking about. They're going to have to be able to generate more explosives through the air, because that was the difference in the game in the first half. And talking about Penn State, they had some explosive plays, one offense, one defense, and that wound up being a great equalizer. If Michigan had been able to generate an explosive or two like they did in the second half, game wouldn't even been close.
Well, as J.J. McCarthy said in the post-game press conference, this offense hasn't hit its pinnacle yet, and that's why they have 2 weeks to prepare for this Michigan State team.
And so defensively, 3 releases on the outside. You saw a big play in this game. You saw a big play in the last game, wide receiver getting a free release down the field. Against more talented receivers, I think Michigan State has more talented receiver than Penn State. I think they have more talented receiver than Indiana.
They're probably top 5 in the Big Ten.
That's something to look at. Coverage. Now, it didn't matter that Singleton got free on the wheel route, right? But no one was there. No one was there. That's a play that hit for Iowa. That's a play that hit for Indiana. It's a play that would have hit for Penn State. Game was out of hand, but we're talking about things that they need to clean up, right?
Yeah, yes.
We're nitpicking. That's another thing to sort of look at. Linebackers in coverage. They clean those things up, man. I'm telling you, they go into Columbus I think they go into Columbus undefeated anyway. But I think you start to get a lot more people outside of Ann Arbor believing, all right, they're going to go into Columbus and get that one.
Well, if they have more games like today where they're rushing for 400 yards, Sam, I'm certainly thinking they're going to be undefeated in Columbus. So that's going to wrap up our coverage. For Sam Webb, I'm Josh Newkirk for the MichiganInsider.com.